So this time in Pulse, we're going to be following the story of Moses and talking about how his life was changed and impacted through having a relationship with God. And through our Pulse film series, we're going to be interviewing different youth workers from across Merseyside and talking about how their lives were impacted by faith. So joining me today is Maria. Maria, it's great to have you here. I wonder if you could just start off by telling us a little bit about yourself, who you are and where you're from.
Okay, I'm Maria. I'm a full-time volunteer in King's Church Wirral. I'm a youth and children's worker. I also help out in schools with Pulse, with you, with yourself. And I'm married to Craig and I've got 6 children.
Wow, brilliant. Thank you very much for that. So just a few questions that we know everyone wants to know the answers to. Salt and vinegar or cheese and onion?
Cheese and onion.
Strictly Come Dancing or The X Factor?
X Factor.
Spice Girls or Take That?
Take That.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm more of a Spice Girls fan myself. If you were a superhero, who would you be and
Poison
why?
Ivy.
Poison Ivy, right, okay. Why that choice?
I don't know, I think she's got quite a character, quite a villainous sort of,
Okay.
You know. I think she's just misunderstood.
Fair enough.
Okay.
It's a good answer. I like that. And if you were trapped on a desert island and you could only download one album from Spotify, then what would that album be?
Pink Floyd, Wish You Were Here.
Fantastic. All very good answers. So now we've got that stuff out of the way, let's talk a little bit more personally about your life. So I wonder, could you just share with us, at what point in your life did you first encounter God?
I was first introduced to church when I was 30 by a friend who I was going through a hard time, and he said that if I wanted to see a difference in my life, I needed to meet Jesus. And so he introduced me to church, and I was going for about 3 years, and I was going through a really hard time. My marriage was breaking down, my life was just falling apart. And it was one day I just went into church, and I sat there expecting nothing to happen as what was happening over the last 3 years. And God spoke to me. It was the first time I've ever heard him, and it was just like he was just speaking directly to me. And then later on, I was in a daze because I couldn't really understand what was going on or what was happening. And when I got home, I gave the kids the dinner and I got them off to bed early, and I went into my bedroom, and then that's when it happened, and all the wrong choices was going through my mind, and that's when I said, Jesus, I have nothing to give you, but what I have is yours. I give you my life. Yeah.
Wow, amazing story. So since that moment then, when kind of everything became real and everything changed for you, how has God impacted your life since then?
That was called conversion experience. So I had a real encounter with Jesus. I kind of met him face to face. And at that point in my life, my marriage was on the rocks. We were heading for divorce. My children were really traumatized by the life choices that I was making. I'm not proud of that, but they were really suffering. But within 2 weeks of that encounter, my whole life was completely different. My marriage was restored. My children were like different kids completely. They were getting on well in school. It was just amazing. It was just like I was a completely different person. It was a completely different family. Yeah, it was an amazing impact. Yeah.
Wow. So really good to hear how knowing God and that relationship changed the way that you lived your life. And for so many young people in Pulse, they're struggling with different things. They've got different things going on. So if you could give any advice to those young people that are in the Pulse groups, then what would that advice be?
I've spent some of my life without God, and I've spent the last 12 years with him. So I know what it's like to live without God, but I know what it's like to live without with him as well. And when Moses was in Exodus, when Moses had led the Israelites out of Egypt and he was taking them into Canaan, he said to God, I'm not going anywhere without you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go anywhere unless you go with me. And I was talking to a friend yesterday, and she said that I don't have a testimony like yours. I was brought up in church. I was brought up a Christian. I was always brought up knowing God. And sometimes I think listening to a testimony of how God's really helped someone in a crisis, like myself, can sound really amazing. But actually, my prayer would be for my children that their testimony would be that they've always known him.
Yes.
That they've always been covered by him, that they've always been guided by him, because living your life without God isn't living the life. And what the world offers us comes with a price. And sometimes when we've got to make choices without God, we've got to live with those consequences as well. So if I was to give advice, it would be, don't do life on your own. Do it with God, let him in, make him a part of your life, and make sure that whatever decision you go through, he's going with you.
No, that's really, really encouraging advice, and thank you for sharing part of your story with us. I know it's quite a personal story, but we really appreciate you being here today to share that with us, so thank you.
Okay.